We're going to jump to this story, get woke, go broke, because this is a good example. We got the story from Yahoo, Washington Examiner. Subway franchisees want to drop Megan Rapinoe's new ad amid Olympic controversy. I think this is a really good example of cultural and political decay. Not only that, it's a get woke, go broke, right? So the Subway has that commercial with Megan Rapinoe, and she kicks the sandwich at some guy and he catches it. Something like that. I don't know. It's one of those ridiculous. Yeah, the Subway sandwich. But then she kneels at the Olympics. And that's a very overtly political move and gesture, which puts you at odds with half the country. If you don't kneel, nobody cares. If you do kneel, you've made half the country angry. So now the Subway franchisees are saying that they're going to be losing money. Let me read the story, and then we'll get into it. From the Examiner, they say, Subway. You did it. Keep doing it again.
You got this.
Samwise Gamgee. Subway franchisees are in discussions to drop Team USA soccer star Megan Rapinoe from a new ad amid her national anthem protest at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. Rapinoe, who signed with the company as a spokeswoman this spring, regularly pushes her political views, usually calls for equal rights and an end to the gender pay gap. These views are getting in the way of the company's reputation and sales, some of the store owners argued during a discussion forum last month. At the event hosted by the North American Association of Subway Franchisees, franchisees discussed removing Rapinoe from a new ad where she kicks a soccer ball at a person holding a burrito, citing complaints they have received from their customers about her. Quote, boycott Subway until Subway fires the anti-American Megan Rapinoe, the creep who kneels for our beloved national anthem. A Wisconsin store operator read from a note a customer taped to the glass door of his restaurant. The ad should be pulled and done with, the franchisee subsequently argued. It gets tiring apologizing. The Subway company doesn't own any of its nearly 22,000 stores, but charges franchisees 4.5% of their revenue for the use of its brand and national advertising campaigns. These campaigns, an Arizona franchisee argued at the forum, should use the revenue to advertise the product, not politics. Spending our money to make a political statement is completely and totally out of bounds. So here's what I see with this. It is pop culture for half the country to do these things. The politics are mostly meaningless. Like they often don't mean anything. What is kneeling in the Olympics? What does it mean? What is it doing? What is it representing? You're not conveying a strong idea. It's just a general protest move. It's not advancing any cause other than corporate politics, I suppose, and signaling to half the country that you agree with some kind of view of the country or whatever. Very much in line, typically, with critical race applied principles, things like the 1619 Project, which are to me, signs of cultural and political decay in this country. Then you can see how it's affecting business. They're losing money now because of it. So it's enterprise. Now businesses are starting to hurt because of the weird things people are doing. I think the country is split apart in a bunch of different ways. I think culturally, this is the best we have to offer. Like, okay, this is a person on TV who cares about their politics. Now the businesses are getting hurt by it. This just says to me that we've gone from stagnation to decay. The businesses lose money. I mean, you can't do it. Get woke, go broke. We knew that something like that would happen. Now they're complaining about it. What do? Do we reverse course and say, we're Americans, we love America? Or do we keep propping up celebrities who, for pop culture points, virtue signal about how America is evil or some other garbage?
I think it's the fuel. I think it's the food. I mean, dude, I don't think you can like
garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, you can't make people change. You have to change the environment that they exist within.
Well, you can make people change, but it's not like to go up to a person and be like, stop doing that. It's to be like, here's the thing we're doing that works. Maybe it'll work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you have to start making patriotism cool for young people. Like, it looks like a lot of these ideas travel bottom up. Like, if your parents are telling you something, you're just like, screw off, right? But if it comes slowly from the bottom, and the problem right now is with elementary schools and what they're teaching there, it starts at the bottom and it's just ruined society on the way up. That's what I think. So then how do you change that?
It's imagine you got a Jenga tower, and at the very bottom, they're chipping away at those Jenga blocks, and everything else is going to come crashing down when they do this stuff, and we're seeing the ramifications of that. So, but I think it's a little. I think the stagnation of our culture is an important point to bring up in this context. Just that, at a certain point, people started resting on the laurels of their ancestors. You know, I guess it's like good times make weak men, as the saying goes, right? So, what happens when you have a horrible, barren wasteland of a country, and in order to survive, you strive and work hard, and you're sweating and working nonstop? You create wealth and luxury. then your kids grow up knowing wealth and luxury, but the hard work that, as you tell them, and the work they do, by the third generation, it's like they say, wealth lasts 3 generations. So I don't. It's almost like the fourth turning, I suppose. We're at this point now where these kids haven't experienced any hardship.
Yeah.
They have no reason to support the flag or the country or the troops or anything. They're just like, this country sucks. It's evil. I hate it. I'm mad. And now from the bottom up, the kids are salty. And then what happens? Everything falls from the top.
And then I think usually when, I don't know if the world has been in a similar situation, but I think usually when a society falls and there's this huge war, then you have that repeat again, right? When I was in Serbia last year, and they were just in war with you guys, I believe, in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, and
like us.
they were like, there's still bombed buildings there.
Oh, wow.
And so everyone there, when COVID hit, they were like, yeah, we were just in the 90s. We're not doing this. Like, we're not doing the same thing as everybody else. We're not shutting down like everyone else. And there were riots and things because people still remembered how it was.
Wow.
Because they've experienced hardship. Like, everyone there, someone was injured or like they remember it. And here it's been decades since there was Vietnam War or some sort of war or something really dramatic. And now we have COVID, which is pretty dramatic for people. It's wrecked a lot of people's lives, killed a lot of people. And so we're in this like turning point where are we going to end up, coming together, or is everything just going to crumble forever?
How do you introducing this to your kid?
I teach her that most people are really stupid, right? Like she's in Montessori daycare, and some kid went up to her the other day and was like, you shouldn't eat meat, because it comes from animals and that's bad. And I was just like, those people don't know how to eat. Like, lots of people don't know how to eat. And they, like, their parents didn't teach them. They don't know how to eat. Like, there are a lot of stupid people. They're going to bug you. Just like, yeah, okay. We've had some, I have a funny story, actually. So she came home, and some little boy came up to her and was telling her she wasn't allowed to draw. And I was with my dad at dinner. And I was like, okay, you can ignore those people. Just tell them to bug off. I was like, just tell them to bug off because there are a lot of annoying people. They'll bug you. You're allowed to draw if you're allowed to draw. And my dad came in and was like, just sock him.
Oh, great.
Just sock him. And I was like, that's fine. That's what he taught me when I was in kindergarten, was just like, I never socked anybody in kindergarten, but like, just sock the biggest kid, or if anyone bugs you, sock them. So he's teaching my 4-year-old to punch. So we're teaching, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, she can tell we're joking. Maybe she's 4. And so it was literally the next day she came back and she's like, I punched somebody. And I was like, oh my God, we have like, this was supposed to be a joke. And now like you got into a physical fight at school and you're 4. But it turns out the little boy came over, the same one that told her not to draw, and pushed her.
Oh.
And she punched him back. And I was like, okay, in that case, good for you.
Yeah.
Self-defense. Yeah. That's my funny story.
I was worried
That's
your dad was trying to radicalize children into violence, but I'm glad it was just a joke.
No, it was a joke,
Not
but
at
she
all,
took it
yeah.
seriously. Yeah.
Good for her.
Did he ever beat up a bully growing up?
My dad?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, he was pretty small. Like, he's tall now. He's 6'2". But he was, he skipped a grade. So he was a year younger than everybody. So he was the one who was bullied.
Right.
And he was super mouthy. So he was really bullied.
If I could do it all again, if I was 4, jack him in the face.
Yeah. So no.
Oh, no, violence. No.
But what do you think when a bully attacks a kid? Is the kid justified in fighting back?
Self-defense.
Yeah,
yes.
100%. Otherwise, you're
Don't
also
start
gonna
fights.
get bullied forever. Mm-hmm. Like, I have friends, and they go to a teacher or something. They do it that way, and then you just get picked on forever. I got picked on a few times, and I switched into like, if you do that again, I'll break your nose, because I know how to break noses. It was very dramatic, but it was like, okay. And that stops things right away. But if it's like, oh no, like, don't do that, or go talk to an adult, you're just going to get tortured throughout high school. So yeah, self-defense for sure.
I mean, if you have there's 2 really great videos. They're both from martial artists giving advice. And one guy, it's this great video where he's like, the ultimate technique to win any fight. And everyone's like crowding on, all these students want to hear from the martial arts master of this ultimate technique. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, this one move will guarantee you will win any fight. And then he stands there, and then as soon as they say fight, he turns around and runs, and he's like, he just runs away. And then everyone starts laughing and clapping, and he's like, any fight you get out of unscathed is a fight you've won. And he's less crude, but it's like the saying goes, if you get into a pissing contest, you just get covered in piss. So you get into a fight with somebody, you're going to get hurt. If you have the opportunity not to avoid it somehow, and that includes getting picked on all the time, you have to. But if you're in a position where someone's attacking you, you need to defend yourself.
I don't know if I agree with that. Like, people get tortured throughout high school. Some people are just, like, picked on and picked on and picked on, and their entire social circle falls, and they end up as the outcast. I think if you're in that kind of situation, you end up punching someone who's picking on you. I think that's the way to go.
But I think we're saying we're not necessarily disagreeing. If you are defending yourself from someone attacking you, like, you have to defend yourself.
But even if it's attacking with words?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't mean picking on physically. I mean, like, I went to an art school. Nobody fought anybody there. But there was a lot of bullying over social media or just in person or behind your back. I don't know. I think like a solid... That's how I manage.
Close your eyes.
Like, I'll hit you if you keep doing this.
I love that. What was it, Tyler, the Creator? I can't remember. Where he was like, how is cyberbullying a real thing? Like, just close your eyes. Just, like, turn the screen off.
You can't, though. Not with social media now. I mean, we're live.
I mean, dude, if I engaged with every nasty thing someone said about me online, I wouldn't have a job. I'd be too busy having to go through it. I just ignore it all. I just turn it off.
That's like fair, but high school?
Yeah, because then you'll go into school on Monday, and then people, if you hear them whispering about you,
yeah.
I never experienced
as a girl, no, but I think it's a different level as a girl. I really do. Like, I think that men are more likely to get into physical fights, and women are more likely to destroy your life by forming little posses and being like, oh yeah, this person slept with that person. Even if you didn't, like, it gets mean and dark and can, like, destroy you.
I think you just got to be above it. I think,
I think you haven't been a high school girl.
I mean,
I haven't, but here's what I would explain to my friends, right? There were people who would fart in class and then turn blush red, and everyone would start laughing at them and pointing like, ew, you farted. They'd be like, shut up. No, I didn't. Shut up.
Yeah.
And then there were the other people more like me who would, hey, Ian. And laugh, and everyone would be like, oh, you're a jerk. I'm like, I don't care. I do whatever I want. You can't make fun of me because I don't care about what you think. So if you go into school and you're worried about everyone's thinking about you, you're the person who farts and then gets embarrassed.
Okay, we're on the same page then here. Because how I countered bullying from women was not only doing the not caring, but also addressing it. Being like, don't talk shit about me unless you want to fight. Like, seriously, straight up. So it wasn't... I think that's a similar page, but like shirking away from it and ignoring it certainly didn't work with women.
I just kind of feel like right now, I've dealt with this. A lot of people have dealt with this. A lot of people get so stressed, working in politics and culture, being online. It's endless harassment. I mean, the death threats and the creepy comments and just the insanity. And I'm just like, I don't care, dude. Sit in your little room, say whatever you want to say. I just don't care. I'm going to keep doing my thing. And you know what? It's like, I guess eventually it could be a horde of zombies piling up in front of, my car, and then my car stops. Okay, well, I guess it happened. But I see all these lies, all the manipulation, all the lies, all the smears. I'm just like, dude, I don't know you, and I don't care what you think, and you are free to hate me. It's like I get journalists being like, so-and-so made this accusation about you, and I'm like, so-and-so can call me whatever they want. They're allowed to believe whatever they want to believe. I don't care.
Did it go on for like 10 years or 15 years, though?
What do you mean?
The abuse, the bullying, people
Bro,
talking?
It has been a decade of me doing political work.
Not online, I mean in person. Because I think what's happening, the reason
I got
social
physically
decay,
attacked during Occupy Wall Street. I got physically attacked
in school as a kid. Like, I think a lot of the kids I didn't grow up with social media, so I didn't have this level of abuse where, like, it's also happening when you're at home. I would go into school, I'd get pushed around a little bit, and then I would leave school and it'd be done. And I
just left school. I was 14.
You left school.
I was like, I'm out. Don't waste my time.
I wonder if the social decay is related to the kids growing up in this environment.
Yeah, it's an instant.
Social media?
Probably. What did Michael Malice say? That schools are one of the only places that children will experience violence.
Right. Yeah. He did,
They're like little prisons.
Dude, Jordan's
boring
an example of the evolution of education, because he left that system and now he's teaching online in a voluntary system where people can come when they want, listen as long as they want, and then leave.
That's how I've had the internet since I was a little kid. We had CompuServe on DOS. So I grew up with AOL in its early stages, Windows 3 from DOS shell. We had DOS, then we had DOS shell. We had Windows 3.1. What was the other Windows? We had the original Windows. We had all of it. No, Windows 95.
I don't know.
It was the one where it was just gray boxes, and you'd like
before 3.1.
Yeah. And then we had 3.1. Then we had 95. I was on AOL the whole time. We had AIM. Cable internet came out. We got cable. We were on instant message the whole time. I have been on the internet, and I was able to Google search websites. I was able to talk with other people, and that allowed me to experience the real world from adults. And not pretty at all. But hey, look, the internet's a nasty place. But then there's a big difference between when you're a kid and you're in school and the teachers treat you like an other, like you're not an adult. You're not to be talked to like an adult. You're not to be taught like an adult. You actually get raised by the children around you. So it's no wonder that millennials are basically permanent children. I grew up with the internet where there was adults on forums talking about music and things like that I was into and game development. And so there would be someone who would be like, hey, here's how you do X, Y, and Z. And they wouldn't treat me like a child because they didn't know. All they knew was someone said, hey, how do you do the parallax scrolling thing I saw in that video game? It's really, really cool. And they'd say, oh, here's how you do it. And here's the code. And then I'd be like, awesome. And then I'd go and do it.
I think you're right. And I think that compounding this being raised by other children is the fact that you can literally always run to a parent or an adult when something goes wrong. And I really think that's a huge problem now in the colleges. You see these students who are incapable of handling even the slightest amount of like friction when it comes to their worldview. And it makes them intolerant. It makes them need safe spaces. It's actually a really big problem.
It happens on Twitter, man. People are like, he said that word. Let's get him.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? What authority are you obsessed with?
This is why
Also, that's the biggest problem in your life? Like, what do I do to get that to be the biggest problem in my life? Someone said this word on Twitter. That's what I want my problems in life to be.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.